Hello, Motown. Today we have with us the one known as Monisha and Major Ram, but he's from the Coast Guard, our very own comedy club president. But if you still don't know who he is, you probably will recall him from the one who actually passed out in somebody else's squad, one and only Vidyasagar. Welcome, Vidya. How honored do you feel to be a part of the first episode of Dil Se ISB?
Yeah, I'm very, very honored. When I found out that you became the president of the radio club, I was supposed to come and request you to give me a chance to be host in one of the podcasts. But then I received an invitation to be guest on the first one, which is not something I expected, but very happy.
No, 100%. Actually, the idea behind this podcast is to know the personality behind the person, to know about your experiences, your journey. We would love to hear from you about your childhood, how it was.
I actually hail from Andhra Pradesh. A lot of people don't know that even from my undergrad because how I am around with people. But the dead giveaway is my name. It's a pretty long one.
Yeah.
And if you come to my quad, you can see people usually get confused that do six people live in this quad because my name takes three lines. But because of the fact that my father had a very transferable job, he was also in the service, but not defense.
Mhm.
So I ended up staying in Delhi, Bhubaneswar, Tamil Nadu, Arunachal Pradesh,
Oh, wow.
Hyderabad, and Karnataka. So most of the states.
Okay.
So I can speak a lot of languages,
Oh, wow.
understand many.
How many languages?
I can speak Tamil. I can speak Telugu. I can speak Odia. I can write Kannada, but I cannot speak Kannada. So that is a different anomaly. I can read and write Kannada, but I cannot speak because Telugu and Kannada have the same script. So that's about my childhood.
Yeah, I'm hearing that for the first time. So tell us a little bit more about your school life. What subjects did you take, and how was that experience?
School life was actually pretty good for me because my father kept getting transferred from one place to another. So he naturally enrolled me into KV because it's very easy to get admissions in the middle of the year. So, and there is a KV everywhere.
Of
So,
course.
so it was a great experience because KV usually has a very diverse classroom. In other places, you might have people only from that particular locality or maybe some particular socioeconomic sector. But in KV, it's not that because people get transferred, so they get first priority. So anybody and everybody from all regional backgrounds,
Right.
cultures, and even socioeconomic backgrounds, they end up in the same class, which is great. Met a lot of people, had very great experiences. But still, I mean, I would say my real eye opener was the service.
Yeah.
We will definitely talk about it more. Regarding subjects, I chose all my subjects till now by the rule of elimination. So I eliminated anything I don't like.
Okay.
So I eliminated biology. I eliminated computer science coding, and I ended up with maths, physics, and chemistry.
And so, what was that transition like? What made you, choose the Coast Guard field, and what was the rationale, and what was the environment at home that time?
Environment at home has never caused any kind of friction for me.
Okay.
So there was no expectation, there was no undue influence over my decisions. So they were completely fine. I wanted to join defense when I was in my 12th grade. I wanted to go through NDA.
Okay.
And I got through the SSB and everything. And I had to go to medicals. And at that time, I had already joined my undergrad. And my college said they're not going to give me a leave and they'll make me do the whole semester again. And that is the reason I dropped that idea.
Okay.
So I planned that I'll definitely do it after graduation, maybe in the postgraduate entry. And that is how I ended up taking the interview and going into that line after all.
And your parents were happy about the decision?
They were mostly agnostic about it because
Okay.
I don't think they cared too much about it. They were
Yeah.
okay. They didn't have a lot of expectations and they weren't upset about it either. Definitely, they were very supportive. That's something I would say. But very neutral reaction.
And I'm very curious to know about your training days. Like, how was that feeling? I know the rigor we feel here at ISB. Was it worse or the same? And what was your routine like?
ISB is very nice.
No.
It's very nice because there is stress, but the stress is only till it's limited to reading something and typing something.
Yeah,
There are no,
that's all here.
yeah, there is no other activities.
Yeah.
But academy is it's like it's packed. You won't know what is happening with you in the first few days, and they call it honeymoon period because they let you
Okay.
they let you, slowly ease into it,
Ah.
and you get a shock in honeymoon period. So you
Oh
can
my
imagine
God.
the other period it's usually worse than that. So the routine usually the day starts at around 3 o'clock. The formal day starts at 4 o'clock, but there's a lot of informal training that happens in the academy. So your seniors kind of train you.
Oh.
So it starts at 3, and there's a lot of running around, some drills and punishments and all. A lot of punishments. It doesn't matter. They have this all for one and one for all mentality. So if you're in a group of 30, one person makes a mistake, the whole group pays for it. So what happens is the whole group tries its best to stop that particular person or any particular person from making a mistake. So it becomes the responsibility of the whole group. So that happens, and at around 6 o'clock we have start with our formal training, which is part of the timetable.
Okay.
The schedule. So there is usually some PT, and then you run to the swimming pool. 7 to 8 there is swimming. 7 to 7:45. 7:45 to 8 you get time. 15 minutes to have breakfast. After that 8:30 classes start. So you have to go back, prepare your uniform, take shower, go to the class. You have class for 2 hours again. 10 to 12 you have parade in the sun. Like they always made it a point to schedule parades right in the middle of the noon because they want you to get used to it. They don't want you to faint or pass out in the middle of a very important parade like maybe Republic Parade or something. So
Yeah.
so they ensure the schedule is like this. And in the afternoon you have lunch. Soon after lunch you have 2 hours of class. You get 15 minutes for lunch, and then again 2 hours of class, and after that you have sports. 3 to 5 is sports, and 5 to 7 is study hours.
There are no breaks.
No, there are no breaks.
Oh my God.
And then 7 to I think 7:30 you have dinner or something. 7:30 to 8 you have a gathering where they discuss the next day's activities. They give you orders, instructions, everything.
Yeah.
And from 8 o'clock to night 2 o'clock is informal training. So that
So
that
when do you
goes on.
sleep?
Usually you get 1.5 to 2 hours for the first
Oh
2
my
months.
God.
And after that, slowly the training starts slowly easing you in. So you get used to that 1.5 hour. So then you start going to 2.5 and maybe 3 hours. The most I slept in my academy period was 3.5 hours.
Is
That
it
was,
humanly possible to
you
survive?
would be surprised what you can do.
I need 6 hours of sleep every day. I
Yeah,
feel good
that-
about being an ISP
That
at
is
this
that is
point.
what you feel.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you never know. I mean, human beings. I never knew. I never
Yeah.
imagined I could function at a 1.5 hour sleep cycle.
Exactly.
But I ended up doing that, and
So
now I know I can do that.
Yeah.
So I know my boundaries. So that is what I keep telling people. You if you tell me you need 6 hours of sleep, you're not telling me you need 6 hours of sleep. You're telling me I limit myself at 6 hours. You never know what you're capable of.
So, but were you mentally prepared for this? Because it must have been a huge transition from your normal life. So the first 2 months would have been really difficult for you. Did you ever feel like going back home?
That is the thing with the schedule, right? You said you don't have breaks.
Yeah.
That is the reason you don't have breaks. When you have breaks, your brain starts thinking. So they make sure you don't have the time to think or even introspect or get a idea of what is happening to you. You don't get that. So by the time you get that, you're already 4 months, 5 months into the training. So
Yeah.
you're okay with it.
Well,
And
and
it's all by design. That's what I'm assuming.
right. And what has been the most challenging thing in the academy for you?
In the academy, I would say every day was a challenge because there was this huge wall in which it used to be written DLTGH, and which meant days left to go home. And we had that you see in the movies, right? People have those lines and they cross it
Yeah. Oh my
in
God.
the jail, like how many days I've spent. So we had the total number of lines, and we used to cross after one every day. We used to cross as a team together. So, but it was fun also many times because you see that For me, it was a very eye-opening period because I always felt I was not good at sports. I never had great hand-eye coordination, wasn't very athletic, and my teammates were very athletic. Like I had people who played national level cricket, they were football players and whatnot. And then came this one small period called camps in the academy, which is essentially they'll leave you in the forest for 5 days.
Oh my God.
And then you have certain you have a map, you have GPS trackers on everyone, and you are divided into teams of 10. Every team will have one navigator and one team leader. And then you have to carry like a 15 kg payload and a rifle, which is not loaded, of course, and a stretcher if somebody faints, and a few packets of ORS, and maybe they give you small cubes of sugar in case you're like very done. You put that sugar in your mouth, you get some glucose. So at that time, I saw all these star athletes. I saw them faint in front of me, and somehow I was still up, which made me realize I cannot be fast, but maybe I have a lot of endurance. And I realized I did. I on the last day, I was carrying my team leader on the stretcher.
Oh my God.
So that made me realize, okay, this is something I never knew about me, which I knew after that. So now, when people tell me ISB has second term, hell term, third term, hell term, I don't see it from a small perspective. I see, okay, आगे भी जाना है. There is much more after that. So I'm not gonna burn myself through it. I'm gonna pace myself like a marathon because I know there are 21 kilometers to go. I cannot sprint through the first 5 kilometers and then be lying down on the floor like that movie Bhag Milka Bhag. So
I really have goosebumps right now. Okay, but on a lighter note, did you have fun? Was there any fun incident that you'd like to share?
From the academy.
Academy, yes.
Oh, academy. Many fun incidents. Like when somebody used to make a mistake, we used to say, "वो फट गया." Because we are used to talking about dummy explosives, right? So something goes wrong with your explosive, even if it's locked in a nice place, वो फट जाता है.
Right.
So when someone makes a mistake which affects the whole batch, so we say कि यार कल वो शाम को 6 बजे वाली मीटिंग में फट गया या और दोपहर को ड्रिल में फट गया. So that then we understand, oh, this means this. And there were a lot of hand signals because some senior is probably taking charge around the corner. So a person standing there would give you a hand signal. There were many signals saying this. This just means like just run away from here. So we used to turn back and run away. So there were many of those incidents. A lot of fun times too.
And did you make some really good friends there?
Yeah, I did. But a lot of them were the people that I had to endure tough times with. Not the people I had fun times with. Because even after coming out of the academy, we have many training stints at different establishments. And I met other people also from my same batch, but it's just that you cannot meet everyone. You keep meeting people from your squadron. You don't have time to go to another squadron and meet people. So it's very difficult. It's very rare that somebody would actually go in a period of 6 months. If you go 3 times, that is a great number, I would say. It's very difficult to go out of your squadron to the next squadron, which is literally the next building. It is like going from 1B to maybe 2B or maybe the studio. It's that nearby, but you'd never get the time. So I met other people also, had a lot of fun times with them, but I still fall back to the people that I had tough times with. Because they have seen me at my worst, I've seen them at my worst. So I know what are the limits in which that particular person operates. So we are much more comfortable with each other.
And I think you truly understand about a person when you're
definitely. I think the true colors or the true personality of a person only comes out when you are faced with adversity. Otherwise, in good times, everyone is good.
Everybody is nice. No, perfect. And finally, after all the hard work, all the patience, all the endurance, how was the feeling when you finally made it? What was that day about?
It was great actually. It was very it was filled with euphoria because I had a small injury just before the passing out parade, and there was a very high chance I wouldn't be part of it, though I wanted to be very badly because academy has many parameters to evaluate you. There is academics, which I was pretty good at. There is sports, not very good at. And then there is parade and drill that I aced. Like I was doing very well. I was in the top, I think 5% or something of the drill class. And passing out parade is the day when you graduate from the academy, right? So it is all about the parade. And I was pretty good at it. And I had to miss the thing that I I'm best at.
Yeah.
But the final day, I somehow endured the
through.
thing, and I requested them, and they said, okay, fine, if you just make sure you don't faint or fall down. I said, yeah, I'll make sure.
Yeah.
And then I was part of it. It was amazing. They play all those songs which like fill you up with pride.
Yeah.
And then there are aircrafts passing over you, dropping flowers and whatnot, and spraying the national colors. And there is a step called Antim Path,
Okay.
which means the last step which you take to come out of the academy.
Symbolic.
Yeah, symbolic. Yeah. So we did all
And
that.
the uniform, of course.
Uniform we used to wear since the first day in the academy. Of course, you change you get ranks.
Okay.
So you get ranks on your shoulder. Before that, you don't have ranks. You have the uniform, but it essentially means nothing. It's just a uniform. But on that day, you get your ranks, and then it's a great feeling. It was amazing feeling.
So you have served for I think 3 or 4 years,
Yeah,
right?
4 years.
4 years. Okay. And how was that like, when you were the senior and
Um, it was a very different experience, I would say.
oh really?
Yeah, but because when you're a junior,
Yeah.
you complained a lot because you know your senior is giving you a lot of work. He's being very hard on you. If you make a mistake, you get punished here and there. They make you do push-ups. They make you run this that, and then you get the opportunity to complain. You get to vent out, and that's that. You are essentially not facing any brunt of your action, right? But when you become a senior, you may not be doing that, but you are actually answerable for the actions of yourself and your juniors. So once I got into that position, I realized, oh, they were actually going very easy on me. I would have done worse. So you were worse with your No, I wasn't. That's what I felt. But I realized that people have this perception of defense being a force where an officer gives an order and everybody follows it. I would say that was 70s and 90s. Because right now, the men, by men, I mean the sailors, or the Jawans in the army, most of them are graduates. And when you give an order as an officer, 1 out of 10 times, or maybe 2 out of 10 times, they question you back. They say, why? No. Why should I do this? Why can't I do that? So, not just the authority you have over them by the virtue of your ranks, you also need to very subtly exert some kind of soft influence on them, which is through maybe the region they are from, right, or maybe training them in a certain way and making them feel that I am actually adding value to you. Yeah. Which is not very direct. You cannot go and tell them, oh, I'm helping you out, because why do I care? As an officer, I'm supposed to command you. I'm not supposed to help you. But in the back of their minds, you have to incept that particular idea that okay, I do value them as my team, and I do work for their betterment. And it's not just limited to the service. Maybe they have family troubles. Maybe they need advice in some particular field. I know a person, I'll connect them or something like that. So it brings them together and makes a very cohesive unit. So do you wish you would have taken LSAT classes that time to know people better? So LSAT was the LSAT that we studied right now, right? It's a very small subset of the course that I took in service. Oh. Which is called it's behavioral sciences course, of course, and it is taught in a place called C Labs, which stands for Center for Excellence in Leadership and Behavioral Sciences. Okay. So Navy has been doing it for more than 100 years now. So yeah, they have been developing that. We got it from Royal Navy, and then we started developing that. So yeah, because I would say this thing is more pronounced than Army or Air Force. And the reason is Army stays together, Air Force also stays together, but Navy stays together in a metal container, which is very restricted. Like you pass each other and you live in a very close proximity. Yeah. When you live in a very close proximity, the tendency to get fed up, to get irritated, to let the situation get best of you is very, very high. In that situation, the behavioral sciences they help you a lot. So you know when your men are reaching their limit, and then you have to kind of take actions to mitigate that. So yeah, I enjoyed the LSAT class, but I could relate a lot of things because I had already gone through all that. Yeah, I'm sure. And like, do you have like one core memory from the service days? Oh, from the serving days. Yeah. I did. Actually, a lot of people keep asking me, what happened? Why did you leave the service? And
Yeah.
I've repeated the story many times, but one of the core memories is that I had many good times also. Service is a great place. You meet great people. I mean, it's very diverse. You have officers from various backgrounds, and they are pretty good at their jobs. But the thing with Coast Guard is it's a very gen man kind of thing. So it doesn't matter if you're a logistics expert or you're a armament expert. You'll be posted in other departments, and you'll have to learn it and you have to do it.
Okay.
Which is something very weird because the day you're posted, from the next day they expect you to perform.
Oh.
So it's very difficult to get used to it. But I think after a few, by the time I reached my fourth year of service, I was very comfortable with it.
Okay.
But the particular incident that happened was first thing is you have a lot of sailing and everything, and there is no mobile network in the sea. So you can't talk to anyone. The only communication you have is with your headquarters, and that is also through radio signals and stuff. There was no internet whatsoever, no mobile signals. So there was this protocol that if somebody's family, if there is some kind of tragedy in their family, someone passes away, so they make a confidential call to the ship. They inform the CEO, and the CEO doesn't tell anyone for who that particular message was.
Okay.
Till the time a smaller boat comes to your ship, because you're deployed on a border and you're patrolling the border. You're not supposed to leave your post till you're done, till some other ship comes and relieves you. So a small boat comes, and then when the boat is alongside and all the arrangements are done, then the CEO informs the particular person, okay, you disembark and
Okay.
get to that boat and leave. So the reason is a lot of people have very different reactions when they listen to that particular news.
Yeah.
And people can be very erratic in those moments. So to avoid that, they do that. And it was very scary because we know in the ship that CEO has got a confidential call, and we know the boat is reaching us in 6 hours. And now the whole ship is very antsy, and they're all worried ki,
Anxious.
who was this call about?
Yeah.
It could be any one of us.
Yeah.
You never know, right? So I felt that, I saw, and I saw it on the faces of my men, and they were worried because everyone has someone in their family who is old, who's probably not doing well, and everyone was very anxious. And after that 5-6 hours, when that particular name was called, that person he like literally broke down because he knew who it was. They just tell you that there is a bereavement in your family, but they don't tell you who it was. And you, of course, know who it can be, right? So that person broke down, and we had to help him. I mean, his department had to help him with packing his uniforms, his bags, and everything, and then drop him back. So I realized it is a good way of life, but it is a great way of life if you have a sibling who can take care of your parents. So you know that somebody is there,
Yes.
right? Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. And just before I left service 1 year ago, my sister got married. And the irony is she got married to an army officer. So after that, I realized I think one in the family is good enough. So I think I can leave this, maybe do something else, but be able to reach my family within time, and that would be great. So right now, I come to ISB, people complain about a lot of things. I'm very grateful. I'm on the LAN. I can use my phone whole day. I get internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, my standards are very low. And whenever people complain, all I can tell them is just try coming one step down in the Maslow's hierarchy, experience the life over there for one day, and then you come back, you feel your life is amazing.
It must have been so difficult, and especially to decide to transition into the corporate life, which was so new to you.
Yes.
And especially after all the hard work that you had put in during your training days.
Yeah, true. I think about it many times. I
Yeah.
feel that did all that go down the drain because of my decision now? But then I realized
so.
maybe not.
Yeah.
You never know. Life, people keep saying this thing, right? Ki jo hota hai achhe ke liye hota hai, and things are related to each other. I've started realizing the pattern in my life that yeah, maybe things are related. And I don't know what is there for me in future, but maybe this will come in handy one day.
Yeah. And I'm sure it has really changed you as a person.
It did.
I want to understand more about that. Like, what do you think? I talked to you about your profession, about the entire journey that you've had, but about a person, like, what would have Vidyasagar been like pre and post this experience?
A lot of people in the campus tell me that during the parties and stuff, got that erratic energy, mad energy and stuff. I never had that before service. Service, I mean, it charges you up a lot, fills you up with a lot of energy, which is great, which I carry now.
Yeah.
And I never used to pay attention to my physical health a lot. I used to, but not at a very regular basis. Never used to engage in multiple activities at the same time because I thought, oh, this is too much. How can someone handle this?
Yeah.
But over there, when you have no break schedule of around 20 or 21 hours, I'm very happy doing multiple activities.
But getting back to academics, preparing for your GMAT, the interview process, it would have been a completely different experience than what you were used to, right?
Yeah. True. GMAT was a very different, I would say, tough. I had never operated on some area like that because I was not used to. We are, and I would say there is a huge misconception that people from defense, they don't study. They're very far away from academics. And the reason I'm telling you that is we have exams to pass every 6 months to maintain our records. So, like, if you fail those exams, nothing is going to happen to you. But your ACR, which is annual confidential report, it is like how do I put it for you? Appraisal.
Yeah.
You probably get an appraisal, right? Your appraisal affects your salary and promotion.
Right.
For us, it's just promotion.
Okay.
There's no salary component
Right.
because government.
Yeah.
So yeah, it affects your salary. Promotions, and it affects your prospects in the organization also. Like what departments you can be put into, what kind of responsibilities can you be given. So it's very important for us to pass those exams, and that too with good marks or whatever. So that was there, but GMAT was a very different ball game, completely different. So I had to get used to it slowly, but I did a very nice thing. I booked my GMAT examination date and then I started preparing.
Okay.
Because I did not have a GMAT score or an ISB admit before I left the service. The problem with leaving the service is our service is very understaffed. So when you put up your resignation, it can take anywhere between 8 months to 3.5 years.
Oh.
Yeah, there are right now, I would say around 100, 150 applications pending at the headquarters. I know officers who have been, who have applied resignation, and it has been 3.5 years or so since they applied for resignation. So it's a very difficult process, and I got lucky somehow.
Yeah.
So I got lucky. So I had not planned to do this right now. I thought maybe in 2026 I'll start my MBA. I was thinking in those lines. But I got my resignation approved in 8 months.
Yeah.
Which was great. And to give you a context, if you don't like a company, you resign, you serve the notice period, you're done. But in this case, if we don't get an approval and I leave, so I'm considered what do you call that? A deserter. And police is going to come to my house, arrest me, and report me back to my unit.
Really?
Yeah. So that to give you a context.
Yeah.
So I mean, the people who are listening to this, they would be like, oh, why 3 years you could have just left, given everything back and left. It doesn't usually work like that in defense because you get a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Like people talk about canteen facilities, people talk about this and that. You get
Cheap liquor.
cheap liquor, and cheap vehicles.
Yeah.
True, they are very cheap. I got one from canteen. But when you get those facilities, you are also stripped of a few fundamental rights. You don't have the right to go and say anything you want. There is no free speech. There's no right to form a union and revolt against the organization. So they strip you of some fundamental rights, and that's how it works. So coming back to GMAT, I'm sorry, I digress slightly. Coming back to GMAT, I took the exam date first, and I had 70-day countdown, and I realized that I work better under pressure. So I started counting down the days. My first mock was 5:30. Started there, and then second mock I went to around 6:50. Third was I think 700. Fourth was 710, 720, and fifth and sixth were around 740. And the exam I got 750. So
Wow.
it was a very progressive, I would say, growth.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy it was that, because I can only do progressive growth. I cannot do miracles within one day. I know I'm not a sprinter. That's what I mentioned in the starting. So
That's
yeah,
brilliant.
that's that.
And I think we talked earlier, you told me that you went for the interview in your uniform.
No, not a uniform. I actually, everyone wears a suit, right?
Yeah.
I wore a Jodhpuri Bangala, because it's essentially Indian formals.
Okay.
And for us, all the events we used to wear that for formals, because um, our service, Navy, Coast Guard, Army, if you have been up to date with the news recently, they are in the process of rejecting colonialism, right? So people are pushing those things away, and they are starting to accept and make Indian attires, Indian foods more of the norm. So I was used to that more. So I said, might as well do it. If somebody asks me, I'll tell them this is formals. I don't know, but nobody asked me anything. In fact, I got compliments about my attire, so I was happy with that.
Yeah. So, Vidya, my one final question to you is, now that you're here at ISB, it's already been 2 months, a little over that. Um, what has your experience been like? I mean, being with the crowd again, with students. I mean, of course, you don't feel the rigor, you've been through much worse, of course. But what are you looking up to at the end of this year?
I started with a very different set of goals, and they are continuously getting altered day by day because of the
It's true for
experiences
all
that
of us.
people I meet.
Yeah.
There are few things that were shocks to me, and there were few things that I'm very grateful of. The few things I'm grateful of is when I walk around the campus, I keep meeting a lot of people. Everyone smiles, waves at me. I smile, wave at them, and uh, more often than not, I end up having conversations with them, maybe at Sarovar or somewhere. And I realize people over here are just best of the best.
Yeah.
Maybe not at academics, maybe not in this particular subject, but everyone has their niche expertise. And I mean, if you know your cohort properly, then tomorrow you have any problem in life, you can have a subject matter expert about that in this particular cohort. That is the kind of diversity that ISB is operating on. And this is just Mohali.
Yeah.
That's one third of what Hyderabad has. I'm just I don't I cannot imagine what Hyderabad has. I'm not saying that's a plus or minus, but I'm already very surprised with what Mohali has.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So every day I see these people, and they talk about things, and I learn so much.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can retain all that, but the fact that they know this, I just remember, okay, this person knows this. That's the only mental note I make, even if I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, if I need that, I know who to call and who to approach. So which has been a great experience.
Yeah, 100%.
High performers. I mean, experts in various fields. I've never been in with a crowd like this before. This is amazing. So that one thing I'm very grateful about. Now coming to a shocker. Life in service was very different. I mean, many things which would have passed over there, they're not accepted over here. So the way civilians live, it's very different, right? I used to reach every place 5 minutes before the given time, and I realized it's not that. I'm the only idiot sitting in the hall, so it feels weird. And I don't say I'm very I'm gonna leave my punctuality now.
Yeah.
But it's very different, right? Like, these are small shockers to me. Slowly I get those shockers. And in service, even if it is not about suppose the rank, people respect people elder than you. It has been like that for a very long time.
Right.
Not about culture or anything. It's just about experience, because I know that person definitely knows more than me.
Yeah.
Maybe not better than me, but
Yeah,
definitely more
more.
than me. Definitely. So I have to respect that. And he has
Right.
spent more time on this unforgiving condition more than me. So he gets that respect for that. And there have been cases in service when people reach their limit and they don't get promoted more, and their juniors get promoted more. There are cases, but these people still call them sir because of the time
The
thing, right?
respect,
But here I see people call each other by names. There is like 8-year age gap, 10-year age gap, and sometimes I feel, what gives you the right? I mean, how do you think we sit on the same seat? But we do.
Yeah.
We do. We actually do sit on the same level. Then I realized it's the thing they do in service is because everyone is in the same boat over
Yeah.
there. metaphorical,
Correct,
like,
correct.
right? But here it's not. Like, there are people from different fields who came sitting
Yeah.
next to each other, and then they imploded, and then it's gonna explode again, right? They're gonna go to different places, different industries. So maybe you'll not never have a contact directly on a professional level, but yeah, personally, of course, you know the person. So
Yeah.
I took me some time to understand the logic, but then it made sense. It's
That is the
beautiful.
corporate culture.
Yeah, it is. So that was a shocker. But by the end of the year, first I aspire to get used to the shockers more. So when I actually go to the corporate, I don't want any more shockers.
Yeah.
This is like a very controlled, safe environment where I can talk to people, where people are, I would say, very accommodative. And there is a reason they are accommodative, right? You know, you're here for 1 year. You have put in a lot of efforts, and you know, ISB has picked people because of some reason, and you expect there is some learning value from that person. You don't know what, but you are tolerant of people.
Yeah.
I would say people are much more tolerant of each other in this environment. And I'm pretty sure if I go out of here, people don't have that incentive anymore. And they're working, they're doing their part.
Yeah.
They don't have the incentive to be very nice to you. You're probably from another team, maybe from another floor of the same company, same building. So yeah, I want to prepare myself in that sense. No more shockers.
Thank you so much, Vidya. It was lovely chatting with you. I wish you all the very best. And thank you for being part of the first episode.
Definitely. Very happy to be the guest, and looking forward to be the host one day.
Of course, 100%.